how does the basic car insurance work? There's really only three pieces that you have to carry for every state. There's a couple states you only have to carry one, and maybe we'll mention that here at the end, but it's very rare. 90% of the time you're going to see the lowest coverage at $30,000 per person. There are a couple states that have 25,000 and even 10,000, but those are the outliers. Let's use Virginia for example. They have to carry 30,000, 60,000, and 20,000. That's bodily injury, 30,000 per person, 60,000 per accident. So if there's multiple people involved, it'll max out at 60. And then you have to carry 20,000 for property damage. In that scenario, if you damage a car more than 20,000, you are out pocketing that or getting sued. And that's essentially the required coverages for most states. Some states like Texas offer something called personal injury protection or a med pay. Those are two different options you get to choose. The medical payments is something that will give you medical payments for passengers. If somebody gets injured in your car, it'll pay whatever you choose. Let's say $2,500 per person. So you get three people in the car, you've got $7,500 worth of coverage for them total, but it's only $25 per person. So if this person's 1,000, it's 1,000. If this one's 2,000, it's 2,000. If this one's 3,000, it's 2,500 because you can't max that out. So that basic policy is waiving your right against that. And in Texas, you actually have to sign that you don't want certain coverages like uninsured motorist. That's the same thing for what we just talked about, except in the opposite direction. The uninsured motorist is if someone hits you that has no insurance, then you get hurt. Now it covers your bodily injury since they don't have coverage to protect you. You could just sue them and that'd be fine if they have money. If they don't have money, they're bankrupt, there's nothing to take, then you might get a dividend for the next 10 years. But at the end of the day, you're the one stuck with the bills and the problem. Besides, they're just gonna hit and run anyways. Once they realize they've hurt you and anything happens, they're gone. If that car still drives, you're gonna have to chase them down, which the police probably recommend not to do. I am not taking any legal responsibility. That's the state minimum basic insurance requirements. Some states do require that you carry the uninsured. Some just require uninsured property damage. In states like California, I think you only have to carry property damage. But that high risk is unfortunately something, if it's changed, then let me know in the comments below. But last time I checked, that's one of the requirements. States like Michigan require you to carry something called personal injury protection, which is a larger coverage with an unlimited medical. So no matter what happens, you're covered for your medical. You can lower those levels of limits, but it's required either way. There are ways to opt out when you have Medicare and Medicaid, but that's just a different video. So now we're deciding that's probably not for me. I don't want to risk that much. I'd like to go the next level up. The next level up doesn't necessarily change the liability limits. We said 30,000 and 60,000 was the standard, or at least the minimum in most states, but most people carry at least 100,000 and 300,000. That has nothing to do with the standard or the minimum policy. That's just you choosing the limits that you're comfortable with. You look at everything you own, my car, my TV, my couch, my house. How much do I have equity since it's gone up so much? Do I have anything? What's my future income look like? Do I think I'm gonna be a doctor? Am I gonna work at a local shop and just be happy with that? So if that's the case, I might want a little bit lower of a coverage. But if it's not the case and I do wanna plan and have assets, then I'm gonna wanna carry a little bit better coverage so that I'm not risking my future income for something that might happen today. What actually happens when you go to more of a standard policy is we add that uninsured bodily injury on. We add uninsured property damage in the states that have that. The no-fault states, they usually have you cover your own car anyways. And then we add underinsured motorists. In that case, if we have a higher than the state minimum and somebody who hits us has state minimums, we're protecting ourselves against the difference. So they're 30,000 paid, but I had 50,000 of medical. I don't want to have to sue them, so I carry 50 on my own, and now I've got the additional coverage between theirs and mine. Really good thing to have, especially for passengers, because it usually covers the passengers in your cars as well, so that if somebody else gets hurt and you're the mom driving the minivan to the soccer practice and everyone's in the car, you want to make sure you have enough coverage for them in case something major happens. Now with that, you're adding on the vehicle being covered. So you're adding comprehensive, which is more of your theft and vandalism, hail damage, windstorms, tree falls on the car, acts of God, as they say. If you hit an animal, that's your comprehensive coverage. That's going to cover your car. Usually you'll have a deductible if you choose one. The lower you go, the more you pay. So if it's zero, you can have a zero, but you pay a lot more. If you want the common, it's usually 100 or 500, and then you just pay a little bit less for that coverage. Tree falls on the car, you pay the first $500, they fix the car, or they pay you back for the car up to the value of it. Then you move into the collision portion, which is just what it is. If you have a collision, you hit a car, someone hits you, usually it doesn't matter who's at fault as long as it's not negligent where you purposely hit somebody. Then in that case, the same happens. That deductible, that's a larger cost because the collision is where most of the cars get ruined. Hitting a moving object is a lot different than a tree scraping off the side of your car, and that's less common, right? So it's more common to have a car accident and you have that coverage. So the cost of that's more. Most commonly people will do a $500, sometimes even $1,000 deductible to offset the cost. In that case, you've got that standard policy. You've got the bodily injury, the property damage, that's for other people. You've got the uninsured and underinsured, that's for you and your passengers. You might have medical payments, that's for you or your passengers. You've got the comprehensive and the collision, that's for your car, and that's your standard policy. When you go beyond that, we're not really changing much. We're just adding things to it. We're adding towing, rental car coverage in case I need to rent a car while the car's in the shop. I'm adding a deductible bank. I'm adding claims-free forgiveness. So if I have an accident and it is my fault, they won't raise my rate. It's a guaranteed lock. You're pre-purchasing that I won't have that risk and if I don't want to be rated for. So you have all of these things that you can purchase in packages and a la carte and all of these things. It's more of your preferred policy as they call it. And usually in that case, you're going to carry higher limits, is having up to $500,000 of liability, having the uninsured at $500,000. That's actually very common. I would say most customers I talk to do at least the 300, if not 500,000 worth of coverage. If you're still curious about it, or if you're just shopping around, I'll put a link in the description below where you can work with a local agent. They can shop multiple companies, get the fit for you to find the right company with the right coverage so you don't pay extra for that. Also, there's a lot of discounts that you should be looking at. I've got a discount video that might help you out as well. Otherwise, this may be an interesting video to you. I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.